How's it going, everybody? You are watching Datil Tapes. We are at Doubleland Studio here in beautiful, sunny St. Augustine, Florida. Sunny for now. The rain hasn't come in yet. I am happy to have the Gilmore Quandary in for a session today. What's up, guys?
What's good, buddy?
What's going on?
Very, very excited for this one. This is one of my new favorite instrumental bands. They formed in May of 2024, and they just put out a new album called Retrophonic. And we're going to hear a couple of songs off of that. So anyway, how about first track?
Let's do it.
So as far as the Gilmore Quandary, I would consider you guys to be a newer band.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your formation.
Craig?
Oh, jeepers. We've all been playing together for quite a while in various different projects, but it kind of started as we started writing stuff just in between rehearsals for other bands. We would rehearse and then have some extra time before or after to kind of write or just jam a little bit. So we started doing that. But then last year, I got hooked up with a really cool rehearsal studio that I had access to. It was like 24-hour, unlimited access. So we ended up using that spot once a week to just get together and jam and write. And we ended up coming up with about 8 tracks and with the goal to put out like a full-length record of those 8 tracks. So the writing was pretty successful and we got everything recorded, and now we're just out trying to gig and do a little bit of stuff with it.
Awesome. So when you guys went into the studio to record, these guys tracked the whole record at Retrophonic Studio. It's a competing studio here in town. No, I have friends that work there and love them very much, dearly. Anyway, when you guys went into the studio, how many songs did you have going into it?
We had the full 8 going in. I think the week before we had 7, and we're like, let's add one more cover in just to see if we can cook something up. So that's where the Sting cover on the track came from. So we walked into the studio, 8 tracks ready to go, just to see what would happen.
Awesome. And did you guys track it all live, minimal overdubs? How did that process go?
Yeah, we did kind of like rhythm takes live, so without solos, and pretty much used most of the drum and bass takes, if not all, from that. And me and Chris got a little more picky and kind of went in and twuck our solos.
Us
and
guitar
leads
players
a
are
little bit.
just animals. They're hard to work with.
That's true. And we had overdubs from John Medico on organ and percussion, and John Ward on trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Alex Hamby on percussion joined us.
We had some auxiliary members that we kind of layered in.
And then we flew in, but we had some guest features on the record. Rick Lawler from New York and Matt Muehling out in Austin, Texas, some buddies of ours, loaned their talents to it and put some great nasty features on there, which was a lot of fun.
Nice. So did you go into the recording knowing that you were going to have kind of these guest people come in and play?
Yeah, I had reached out to them and they had kind of tentatively said they were down, and I didn't really send them anything. We didn't demo much out. We just kind of made sketches for ourselves. So I hit them up and said, hey, we'll send you something, I promise. And the hope was that these guys would jump on it, and we had some maybe contingencies in case something went awry, but luckily both these guys heard the tracks and they were like, got stuff back to us right away and just put some magic on it. It was awesome.
Killer. So I want to talk a little bit more, just looking in this room, I personally know some of these guys. Some of them I've just met today, but the guys in this band I know that they play in so many other bands. What are some of the struggles with playing for so many different artists and then having the time to do this?
There's a lot going on, man. Putting it, I guess it's really balancing your time out and figuring out what you can push right now and what to push off until the next day when you've gotten through the one that you need to do. We do, the majority of this band also hosts monthly Blue Jay night, where we're masochists and get the songs a week beforehand. And that's something around like 12, 15 songs
a month just for one project. Yeah.
And it ends up, musicians are never the most timely. So we get tunes in sometimes, 2 days before, and we're just out there working. So it's so much of what gig is on the books next. Okay, pound that out, dump that information, and then get to the next one.
Gotcha. So for those watching out of state or, out of the North Florida area, tell us a little bit more about Blue Jay. What is that place? And you guys just had a show there recently.
Yeah, we played up there a couple weeks ago. Blue Jay is one of the most special rooms, not just in Jacksonville, not just in Northeast Florida. East Coast, it really is a standout of a room. We play so many venues, clubs, events, all kinds of stuff, but Blue Jay is a spot where people go with intention to really absorb the music, hear the stories, and really pick out things they may not have heard in a different setting. And Kara's a longtime friend of all of ours, but I've known her since I moved here about 10 years ago. And she's always just so generous to give us the space to do, some great music, some stuff we can't play. Like, this music's a lot of fun to play. I can't imagine playing it at certain clubs we go to. So it's really special to walk into a space like that knowing we get a chance to really do something we're passionate about. And it's the same for every artist she books. I mean, she just does not miss with her musical taste. It's awesome.
Exactly. So it's definitely more of a listening room kind of vibe. I actually haven't been there, believe it or not, but it seems like one of those places where when you buy a ticket, which almost every show that she promotes there sells out. It's really incredible. But you buy a ticket and you go there for the intention of sitting or standing and really listening to the music. You know, you're not just tagging along with a friend and getting drinks at the bar and, you know, just there for a good time. It's strictly music, which I love. Speaking of that, let's hear another track. What was that last track called?
That was Prod Water.
Awesome. Prod Water off of Retrophonic. That's on streaming and everything?
Anywhere you can find streaming songs, that's
Cool.
on there.
Nice. Gilmore Quandary's links are in the description of this video. Also, you can listen to all the Datil Tape sessions on podcasts, wherever you listen to those. So this is a podcast hybrid, we'll call it. that mainly focuses on bands in the North Florida area, St. Augustine, Jacksonville, Jax Beach. I've been wanting to do this for the local music scene here. And so my next question is kind of about being in a band in North Florida. What's the hardest part about starting a band here in North Florida for you guys?
The heat.
Yeah, playing outdoors.
I think honestly you might have already kind of hinted at it earlier with there's no shortage or lack of epic, crazily talented musicians. The guys who are really doing it are doing it hardcore and kind of like us playing in a bunch of projects, super booked up. So I think the scheduling would be my official answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And the flexibility on, just to piggyback off that, is like, if you want to get a certain project off the ground, like being, I guess, malleable in your way of doing it, like maybe Kevin's booked up and I can't call him on a gig, but I can get someone either as good to hold it down, either to join the project, wait until he's free. I mean, it's flexibility is kind of the name of the game.
Cloning plays a big role. We have a couple Ramoses. We keep them in the closet.
Yeah.
I was about to say it's terrible.
This is our favorite.
They keep them in my closet.
Yeah.
Awesome. So as far, like, it would be the scheduling factor.
I think
because
so.
We all have friends that we know. I mean, John Ward in particular, he's the bass player in Fortune Child, who we did a session for here. He's got multiple bands. He works in a recording studio, and he also does wedding gigs. And it's like, I don't know how he does his calendar every month. Can you guys explain why we have so many musicians here?
I think it might be an untapped market, so to say. It's first off, we are the farthest south that the South gets, right? So it only starts getting north if you go further down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I personally, and I've heard a bunch of other people say this as well, it's a quiet industry here, but also a really creative and thriving one as well. A lot of the guys around town, we've got Shane Platten, Jeremy King, who else is hosting jams around town that we've got that have been, one, staples to the Jack scene, and then two, facilitators of that too. It's just that they're so open and welcome that they kind of push people to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ones that want to do it will thrive in that.
All of you guys in this band are extremely good at what you do. Like, it's been insanely fun to watch in the room, these guys shredding, and like, Craig, you're killing it on drums. Unbelievable. And before some of you guys got here, me and John Medico were having a conversation. Everyone in this band obviously plays other instruments. Like, John, your main instrument is what?
Drum set.
Drums.
Yep.
And you're on keys today.
I am.
This question goes for everybody in the room. Would you say that the instrument that you're behind or holding right now is your main instrument? Is it the instrument that you're the best at?
For me, it is not. I am better at drums, that is for certain. But I love playing keys. I played keys for a while, not professionally, but I've known these guys for a long time. So I'm kind of the cherry on top. I'd say this is like the core for Gilmore Quandary guys. But whenever I'm free and I'm ready to shed the tunes a little bit, I'm there. I overdubbed on the record, so I appreciate them, giving me the time of day. And
he's our fifth Beatle.
That's right.
He's our Billy Preston.
That's right. I'm
the
Billy
ultimate
in the
auxiliary
corner.
player. He's gonna sing
Just
one
like
for you after we're done.
But I mean, all of these guys are not just guitar players or drummers, but they're they're musicians, and they're writers, and they're artists at a high level. KP writes on the piano. He plays bass on his records, and
He's also one of the most beautiful sounding acoustic guitar players that
absolutely.
and
I've
a great
heard.
singer. Kevin Ramos is a great singer. Chris, I heard sing for the first time the other day. That was really
But
good.
It was special.
So everybody in this band can obviously sing, and it sounds like really well, but why instrumental in this band?
I guess because we do it so often. Like, doing this is kind of like a break from reality a little bit. We're side guys or band leaders in all these different projects and that requires us to either front some tunes, sing harmonies, kind of play the role of the gig. So to like take some music that's ours and like kind of focused in like rooted in, you know, jazz and funk and blues and stuff that we love and grew up listening, it's kind of nice to put the mics down and just play a little bit.
Yeah, we're tired of the mix pandering to vocalists and
Yeah.
squashing out all our sweet parts.
Yeah, man, I had a really cool part on that Measure 45, and they just sang the lyrics right over top of it. It's crazy.
That is, how rude. One last question before we hear another track by the Gilmore Quandary. This one comes from Tucker Jones. Actually, he's our videographer for Datil
Tucker.
Tapes.
Thanks for calling in.
Big shout out to Tucker. And he wants to know if you were a movie genre, if the Gilmore Quandary was a movie genre, what would it be?
I'm thinking
Dark comedy.
I was going to say stoner comedy.
you guys are going a way different direction. I'm thinking like action movie, but the cars aren't going that fast. It's like nice cars. Maybe they bump a little, but we're not seeing big crash on the screen.
Yeah, I hope not.
So like Almost Fast, Almost Furious.
Yeah.
What was I saying? I'm gonna go with
I'm thinking like Kung Pao, you know, like
Yeah.
a dubbed action movie.
That is a chicken seasoning. I don't know where you're going with that.
I'm gonna
I
go
know
with
you know.
a nature documentary just because you don't ever want to be where they are, but you like watching it from the distance.
Yeah. I don't want to have a knowledge of these modes and scales and timing. I don't want this.
Luckily, we don't have any of those.
It's
Yeah,
on in the
let's-
background.
That's not true. How about one final song to close us out?
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us, man.
dad says for my birthday, I get to go to Doubleland.